Majesty, good morning, good morning. I want to get to all of that in just a second because a lot of that we're watching and we think, wow, she's just like us. We have those same feelings. But let's talk about the UN first. I feel like the world is in such a dark place right now. Mm-hmm. And I've heard you give speeches and I feel that there is light there. Mm-hmm. Where do you find that hope and how do you convey it?
Well, you're right. I think our world is at an inflection point, and it seems like polarization is really a defining feature of our world. Mm-hmm. Whenever we see somebody who disagrees with us, it's become natural to demonize them.
Yeah.
And when you see everything through a political lens, it becomes very difficult to come together over any issue. Mm-hmm. And the irony is that the issues that we're facing today, from climate change to migration to inequality, those all need solutions that come from collaboration. So if we're not talking to one another, we're not going to be able to find resolution to some of these issues. And I just feel like we need more engagement that is rooted in optimism and hope, rather than, fear. And, there's this wave of populism around the world that's using people's fears and insecurities for leaders to gain popularity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not very helpful. It's not finding solutions. So I think we need to focus more, not on the why, for example,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to climate change, but on the how. Mm-hmm. How do we find solutions?
At the COGEX, you gave a beautiful speech and you talked about how you used to think that strong leaders were tough and led from the front of the ship. Mm-hmm. But as you've grown, you realize that great leaders actually lead from the back of the ship. They're behind, they're watching how things unfold. And in your opinion, those are the kind of leaders who
I think to be a strong leader, you need to follow the great movements that actually lead to people's engagement and lead to participation that leads to change. You have to have some self-doubt. What we're seeing today is so much, I know what I called it, certainty on steroids, where you're not questioning yourself and you think that your opinion is right. I think we could all benefit when confronted with an opinion that differs from ours, and just maybe replacing defensiveness with curiosity. Yeah. Because you could learn something new, and it doesn't mean you have to agree with the other side, but you can try to find a little bit of a middle ground. And the frightening thing in our world today is that middle ground seems to be disappearing. We need to regain that middle ground because that is where change is going to happen.
And you're optimistic that can happen.
I think optimism is a choice.
I don't know if you remember this, but you've been here on this show many times. Mm-hmm. There was one time in particular that you came on when your youngest was 4 months old.
True, yes.
I think we have a little video. This is now 18-year-old Hashim. He just graduated from high school. When you look at those images of him as that little boy and to see what he's become.
It's just scary how time flies, right? I mean, as parents, I think it's our job to, take care of our kids until they are old enough to go out into the world. But it doesn't make it easy when that day comes, actually. And, in the span of 3 months, from the end of March to the beginning of June, I had 2 children get married and 2 graduate.
Oh, gosh. You're about to be an empty nester.
What was I thinking?
So you're an empty nester, so to speak?
I'm an empty nester right now, and it's... But, it's just this wave of emotions, with Iman when it was a new experience for our family because she's the first one to get married. And there were so much planning and anticipation culminated in a really beautiful and emotional day. Nothing can prepare you for the moment you see your daughter in that white dress.
Oh.
The mixture of emotions of, pride at the strong and independent woman she's become, joy for her joy, sadness for her leaving home. It all comes together and nothing can prepare you for that.
Well, just to brag on your kids a little bit, Crown Prince Hussein went to Georgetown and the Royal Military Academy in England. Princess Iman started in Georgetown, then transferred to New York's Parsons School of Design. Princess Salma graduated from USC, and now your son is off to college. Yeah. You did good by all your kids. Can I ask one thing that we wrestle with here when it comes to our kids? Mm-hmm. Kids and cell phones. I know this is off topic, but what's that like in your house? Is that something that you don't like to have around, your kids being on their phones?
I don't think you can completely fight the trend because that's where children are. I mean, that's where the world is. Technology is all around us. You can't find it completely, but you need to regulate it.
Yeah.
And I think it's more about the values that you instill in your kids about themselves, the self-confidence, the discipline. All those things are important, and that will determine how they interact with their technology. One of the first things when, just before my son announced his engagement, I took Rajwa to a side, and the first thing I told her was, there's no such thing as a 100% approval rating. You're always going to have people that are against you. And the advice that I want to give you is please try not to read the comments. Because that's you're just going to have self-doubt. You're just going to, and there's always going to be negativity. And that negativity is coming, it's not about you. It's from the person. They're unhappy in their own life. So don't carry that unhappiness. Just keep focusing on what it is you want to do, because it'll shake your confidence. You think it's not going to affect your morale, but it does. It does. And so you just need to develop healthy habits around technology. And that's what you try to teach your kids, not to stay away necessarily from their phones, but to interact with them in a healthier way, and to always establish that balance.
Well, you've done so well by your children, and also just by the way you're navigating your way through the world and how you're helping everyone. I just want to say thank you. It's been my honor to sit with you, Queen Rania. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.